Once upon a time, there were 4 corgis. Not just any corgis. These were super corgis. Their names were Pip, Squeak, Waffles, and Captain Shortlegs. Pip was brave, Squeak was smart, Waffles was silly, and Captain Shortlegs, he was the leader. They had short legs and fluffy butts. They loved adventures, big adventures. They heard a whisper, a rumor on the wind about a giant ship, a carnival cruise ship, full of yummy, tasty, wonderful treats. They knew they had to go. It was a mission. The big day finally came. The sun was shining bright. The cruise ship was enormous, bigger than a house, bigger than 10 houses. So many people hurried about. They pulled big, heavy suitcases. The corgis watched. Their little hearts beat fast. Thump, thump, thump. They hid behind a big leafy green plant, waiting, watching. Then they saw it. A ramp, a long ramp just for luggage. This was their big chance. Captain Shortlegs gave a tiny, excited woof. Now! Go, 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 my brave crew! One by one, they made a dash. Their short legs moved super fast. Faster than you can say sausage. Waffles. Oh, Waffles. He tripped on his own long ears. Oops. Silly Waffles. But he bounced right back up, like a furry little spring. They looked like fluffy brown potatoes, rolling, tumbling, wiggling onto the giant ship. No one saw them, not a single person. They were too quick, too sneaky. Like tiny furry ninjas on a secret mission. They were in, hooray, they were on the ship. Wowzers, it was like a floating city. So many new things to see, so many amazing smells. Popcorn, salty and buttery, pizza, cheesy and delicious. And something else, something very, very sweet. Captain Shortlegs sniffed the air. His nose twitched. That way, team, he woofed with authority. His tail wagged like a happy metronome. Their most important mission had officially begun. Mission find the legendary sweet spot buffet. Adventure was calling their names, and their tummies rumbled in agreement. Sweet treats. Ahoy! The 4 brave corgis followed their noses. Sniff, sniff, sniff went their little wet noses. They trotted past giant comfy chairs. They zoomed past happy people laughing. The wonderful, sweet smell grew stronger and stronger. Their tummies rumbled louder now, like tiny little thunderstorms. Waffles licked his lips with anticipation. He imagined mountains of soft cookies and flowing rivers of creamy ice cream. Oh, the glorious thought of it. He could almost taste the sugary goodness. It was a dream come true. And then they saw it. It was paradise. The sweet spot buffet in all its glory. It was even more beautiful than they had imagined. Cakes. Tall cakes, short cakes, round cakes, pies, apple pies, cherry pies, creamy pies, cookies, big cookies, small cookies, cookies with sprinkles and candy. So much colorful, shiny candy. Pip's eyes went wide like saucers. Squeak did a little happy dance, wiggling his whole body. It was a wonderland of sugar. So much food for 4 little dogs. They felt like kings. They tiptoed closer and closer. Very, very carefully. No humans were looking right then. Perfect timing. Waffles, always the first for food, went straight for a cupcake. A big pink cupcake with fluffy frosting. Pip found a giant chocolate chip cookie. It was almost as big as his head. Squeak discovered a rainbow pile of gummy bears. He started to count them. Captain Shortlegs, being the responsible leader, decided to sample everything. A little bite of this, a tiny nibble of that. For quality control, of course, munch, 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 crunch, crunch, crunch. Little crumbs flew everywhere. Happy muffled barks filled the air, but they were quiet barks. Super quiet. They didn't want to get caught by any big humans. Their bellies got rounder and rounder, round like little beach balls. They ate, and they ate, and then they ate some more, until they simply could not eat another bite. Best day ever, barked Pip, his mouth completely full of sweet, sticky frosting. Waffles nodded, too full to even speak. With their tummies full of delicious sweets, the corgis felt brave, super brave, invincible. They decided to explore the rest of the giant ship. Up the creaky stairs they went. Down the long carpeted halls they trotted. Waffles, full of sugary energy, chased his own tail in circles. Squeak, the curious one, sniffed at a shiny, important-looking door. It was just a little bit open. What could be inside? They just had to know. Curiosity was a powerful force for these little adventurers. It pulled them forward. They peeked their little heads inside. Wow. Oh wow, so many bright lights, so many colorful buttons and giant screens showing the ocean. It was the ship's control room, the bridge. This was where the real captain drives the huge ship. But guess what? No people were there right now, not a single one. Just lots and lots of interesting, shiny things to investigate. Captain Shortlegs felt a funny tingle in his whiskers. An idea. A very bold, very silly, very exciting idea popped into his head. "My fearless crew," Captain Shortlegs declared with a bark. "We can drive this ship." The other corgis looked at him. Their eyes were wide. Then they looked at the enormous steering wheel. It did look rather fun. Pip, always eager, jumped onto the captain's big, comfy chair. He pawed at a blinking button. Beep, boop. A light flashed red, then green. Squeak tried with all his might to reach the gigantic wheel, but his little corgi legs were just too short. Oh dear, this was a problem. Waffles, meanwhile, spotted a big red lever. It looked very important, very powerful. He nudged it gently with his wet nose. Vroom! Whoosh! The whole ship lurched to one side. Uh-oh, this was not part of the plan. Pip yelped in surprise. Squeak slid across the slippery floor like a furry bowling ball. Captain Shortlegs tried to grab the spinning wheel, but it was too high and too fast. Driving a massive cruise ship was much harder than it looked. Much, much harder for 4 small dogs. The giant cruise ship wiggled. Then it wobbled. Then it started to go a little bit sideways. Oh no! People on the sunny deck below looked very confused. Their drinks sloshed, their hats flew off. "Is this part of the entertainment?" someone asked, looking around. The corgis barked. Not happy barks this time. These were worried, frantic barks. Driving a gigantic ocean liner was super tricky. Very, very tricky for small dogs with short legs and no opposable thumbs. They needed a new plan, and fast. Captain Shortlegs, ever the quick thinker, looked out a big round window. Outside, the sun was shining brightly, and he saw a pool. A big, beautiful blue swimming pool, full of sparkling water. That looked like much more fun. Way more fun than trying to steer a runaway ship. "Pool," he barked with sudden inspiration. "Let's go to the pool, my friends." The other corgis agreed immediately. Steering was far too much work and far too stressful. Pool time sounded perfect. They scrambled out of the control room as fast as their little legs could carry them. Just as the real ship's captain walked in, looking very, very surprised to see 4 fluffy culprits. The corgis ran. Pitter-patter went their tiny paws on the deck, towards the warm sunshine, towards the inviting pool. They could hear happy music playing. People were laughing and chatting. The pool looked so cool and refreshing, it was calling their names. What a perfect end to their adventure. They reached the edge of the big blue pool, all 4 of them side by side. Pip, Squeak, Waffles, and Captain Shortlegs. They looked at each other, eyes sparkling with mischief and joy. They barked, loud, happy, triumphant barks this time. And then, with a mighty woof, jump! All together, they leaped into the cool water. Splash! A giant wave of water went everywhere. People gasped, then laughed and cheered. The corgis paddled happily. This was the best cruise ever. Absolutely, positively, the best.